What up, podcast listeners? It's your favorite DJ JJ, coming at you with a podcast on the JJ Meets World page. We're so excited that you found it today. We've got another J coming on the scene here. His name is Jason Copley, and you'll understand why I'm saying Copley. We talk a lot about Jason's service in the U.S. military with the North Dakota National Guard. We talk about his job now as a recruiter, and you might find this to be one of the most honest conversations we've had on JJ Meets World about somebody's job. This is just a nice set piece, and Jason's going to make all of his recruits listen to it. So if you're brand new to JJ Meets World, you got a lot of episodes to catch up on, brother or sister. So sit back and enjoy this episode of JJ Meets World, and afterwards, maybe, while you're in the bathroom or you're a passenger in a car, you can go to patreon.com/JJ Meets World and donate a couple of dollars our way.
1, 2, 3, 4. J.J. Gordon, sort of like that Indiana Jones, in that he's always sniffing out his next adventure. Yes, he is! He's always interviewing guests so he can have them on his show and they can talk about pop culture, arts, and leisure. J.J. has his flag unfurled and he likes his french fries curled, and he's fun and then he twirled as he goes to meet the world. He will march into the rain even if his ankle sprained. Take a peek inside his brain. This podcast is called JJ Meets World.
Free pens. Free pens tend to be the low-hanging fruit of the promotional world. I know some companies and organizations that believe in it. I know some people who say I would never do a free pen because no one ever actually gets business from a pen. My question is, though, if that's the low-hanging fruit, what is the shiny apple just out of reach? What is the promotional item that can be mass-produced for a very small amount of money that really would represent your business? There's a car wash company here in Fargo that has made calendars with their logo as the sticky part for as long as I can remember, and I still see people who have them hanging up in their workshops at like 1997. I know a couple people who have stress balls in their desk. Most promotional items end up either in the garbage or just kind of filed away somewhere. I know very few people, who actually use them. Can you think of a promotional item that you really, really got into?
When I worked at Sundog, I got some Sundog swag, and it was all actually really good swag. In my opinion, though, if you want to give away a promotional item and to have people who get it actually be happy that they got it, make it something you can drink out of. So coffee cups, obviously someone gives me a free coffee cup. I'm like, hell yeah, that's awesome. I do drink a lot of coffee. I'd love to drink it out of this. Mugs, decanters, whatever. Like if you can hold...
Who's giving a decanter?
I want someone to give a decanter. And so if you have a promotional decanter, I'll come visit your business if you give me a free decanter.
Thank you, Barnesville Insurance. I did promotional sunglasses for line benders last year, and I think they went over well with the line benders. I don't know if anyone else ever grabbed them, but what I liked about them is the sunglasses were pretty cheap. So they're not the type of sunglasses that are going to replace your Ray-Bans, but they are the type of sunglasses that you could wear while you're tubing down the river.
Right.
Or if you're going, if you just need to grab something on the way out of your house, or you're afraid you might lose them somewhere. And that, to me, has some value to it because I have never thrown away a pair of sunglasses. I have a pair of sunglasses from a Ford dealership that must be a decade old.
Free shirts get a lot of use, though. I mean, even if you're not going to wear it out as like a regular shirt, everyone wants to have shirts so they can wear it. They don't care what happens to it.
A paint shirt.
Is just like a lay around the house lazy shirt. It's the shirt I put on when I'm just here.
Oh, you like Coke Zero? No. But I got this for free. Let me tell you about an experience that a friend of mine got wanted a free thing. So Warp Tour was in Fargo, and my friend B, I won't say his full name, but my friend B was in a Yoo-Hoo chugging contest. And I think you could win a skateboard. And so he's chugging Yoo-Hoo, chugging Yoo-Hoo, chugging Yoo-Hoo. and he ends up throwing up almost an entire glass container of Yoo-Hoo back into the Yoo-Hoo cup. And the dude at the counter goes, free tickets to whatever show to anyone who drinks the puke that this guy just puked up. And so someone immediately grabs it and chugs it. Now, the thing is this guy had been drinking so fast that it was still cold. It hadn't even had a chance to, like, hit his gullet, but it still was coated in his throat.
No.
Which reminds me of Tucker and I were driving back from Kentucky one time, and we stopped for gas, and on top of the gas pump was an envelope. And in that envelope were 2 tickets to Warp Tour.
That's right, yeah.
And I was like, someone is going to be pissed. Because this is not in a time and an age where you could just reprint or you had like a digital thing. They probably bought this at a kiosk somewhere.
Right.
And we discussed briefly about going to Warp Tour, but it means we'd have to go 2 hours in the opposite direction that we really needed to. We both said, nah, never mind. I've told that story to 3 people. One person had a reaction of like, whoa, you didn't go to Warp Tour? You missed out, you square. And then that person rode off into the sunset with their neck tattoo. And
there are not many large like events that large amounts of people congregate at that I would really want to go to.
Oh yeah,
because I'm just too much of an introvert that many people. It would just drain the hell out of me.
Really,
in short order, I think. Yeah, I will never go to WeFest unless, like, I get some sort of sweet deal where I'm like put up in a hotel suite or something, and it's like amazing. And I'm backstage the whole time, and I don't have to talk to regular people.
Oh, you have to talk to plenty of regular people backstage. They let regular people back there all the time because they eat in a place called the Prancing Pony.
Ah,
yeah. And I remember going into the Prancing Pony and being like, "You guys, like Lord of the Rings," and everyone was like, "What?"
Was it the Blue Pony?
No, it was the Prancing.
Pony.
Yeah.
Okay, huh?
So I don't think that they even knew that they were sharing the name with the Tolkien legend.
Right.
This episode of JJ Meets World, you're going to enjoy. Jason's a pretty fun dude, I guess.
I had a great time talking to him.
Yeah, and you got to meet him for the first time ever today.
Yeah, I saw him and I recognized him. Like, I feel like I've seen him before.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've ever met before today. And he was a great guy.
He gave me a satchel once that I still use to this day.
He brought us gifts. He brought us things to drink out of.
He did. And so now you're going to be drinking out of a North Dakota North Dakota National Guard double wall vacuum insulated thermos that he told us is not technically Yeti brand, but just as good as a Yeti.
It's pretty badass. It's a pretty awesome one.
That's the type of thing that you could walk up to a combine with and they'd be like, "Oh, look at that coffee cup. I trust this man."
Right.
So listen, folks, I want you to sit back and I want you to relax. This episode of JJ Meets World is a lot of fun and it's very interesting, especially if you're interested in things like military life, what it's like to serve in the military. We might take care of some myths that you've previously held about what selective service is like. And speaking of selective service, I would like you to selectively go to JJ Meets World and support this podcast at patreon.com/JJ Meets World. We put every single episode out for free. There is no cost associated to you, the listener, but there are lots of costs associated to Tucker and I. And I know you're sick and tired of hearing about this. Sick and tired of hearing us go, we need the money from you. Please, can we have the money? But here's the deal. Not many of you are even giving up on that. So just think about it like this. Maybe if you could tell 5 friends to go on and donate, we could stop asking you for this. So this is really your fault. It's not ours. It's your fault.
I don't know why PBS doesn't use this tactic.
Right. You want a tote bag? You like Wishbone? Well, then give us some money.
Who do you think's going to pick up Sesame Street, huh? Who do you think's going to pick it up?
HBO. 5 years later, HBO ends up picking up the bill for Sesame Street. Sit back, relax. This episode of JJ Meets World with Jason Copley.
JJ Meets World.
All right, Jason Copley, Coppeldly.
Yeah.
Is that
Copley.
close? Copley.
Yes.
Do you ever think Jason Policely?
I try to explain that to people like it's a cop named Lee. That simple.
When did you come up with that? Like 3rd grade?
Well, like when people mess up your name so many times, it's like, come on, people. It's Cop Lee. Break it in half.
I think the hard part is that O right there, because I for a long time was like Jason Copley,
Yes.
and they were like, that doesn't sound right, and I was like, well, listen, I've been reading for a long time, and I use context clues, and then I heard you introduce yourself to someone, and I was like, damn, I've been saying this wrong for almost a year. But do people mess up your name? I mean, do they give it a hard O?
Always.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
Well, and that's what blows my mind is I'm pretty sure, and I almost failed English, so I could be completely wrong. But isn't it 2 consonants in between a vowel make it a hard O, right? And it's 1 consonant between it makes it a long O. There's a P and an L in between the O and the E, so it should be by English, I before E except after C. It should be Copley. But maybe it's because the L's skinny.
All I can say is we let down our English teachers on this show every episode, so it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I mispronounce things all the time.
My grammar is good.
Well,
Well,
isn't it supposed to be
good
well?
grammar comes from me and I.
Because isn't well always at the end? If you're going to say good, it should be well if it's at the end of a sentence. Right?
I've been told this. Superman does good, but you are well. So the good is the act. Like I am doing good things, but well is I am well. Well, wow. Wow.
I literally thought you were saying like Superman doesn't have to abide by the bylaws.
Yeah, grammar applies to you.
But not Superman.
Not Superman. Not aliens from another planet.
One of my favorite. So I have a small selection of graphic novels, aka comic books that are a bunch of issues condensed into one. And my favorite one is called Red Sun, where what if Superman hadn't landed in the United States, but had in fact landed in Russia and became the poster child for Russia? So instead of having his Superman symbol, it was kind of like the hammer and sickle. It is such an interesting read to see him not represent the truth, justice, and American way, but to represent the communist way. And just to think of that's just a small change in perspective.
Right. He landed here instead of there.
Yeah.
And grew up here instead of
with
there.
a different set of values and a different set. And so I like reading it, and I like giving it to other people to say, check this out. You've never seen a Superman like this. And almost everyone says, this is really fun to read, but it made me really want to read the blue cape
regular
Superman stuff.
So what's his civilian job? Because here, isn't he a reporter?
Makes borscht.
That's a really good question, actually, because that would mean that he works for the government because it's media controlled over there. There's no free press, so that's very interesting.
You know what I mean? So what's his civilian? And is his name still Clark Kent? Right? Clark Kent, isn't that Superman?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was named that because his parents were
right.
Was
his name Ivan?
I'm gonna give it to you, and I'll let you read it. And I think you're gonna get a kick out of it. And it's not one of those comic book. So I've never been a comic book person, so I think you have to train yourself to read in that manner and take in the story and the visuals. But this has just an easy flow to it. You get for example, if you had diarrhea, you could probably get through it in a weekend. Easy. You know?
Like a normal Sunday for me.
Yeah.
I've got diarrhea. What should I do? I know. I'll read a comic book.
That's going to be my new thing. Hey, next time you have diarrhea, read this.
Yeah.
You'll get through it real quick.
Majority of
No
our
pun
audience
intended.
is based off of diarrhea, really.
Should I read this or listen to JJ Meets World? I got diarrhea. Let's read the comic book.
Yeah, it's a lot of ads for Imodium in that one. So, Jason, I got to know you because we both worked at the same place for a little bit, but I got to really respect you because I found out that you're a part of the North Dakota National Guard, and you're right now working as a recruiter for them.
That's correct.
How exciting is that? Do you like going into the high schools? Do you like talking to kids about their future?
That's the main thing I got into it for was, I knew where I was going as a high school kid, and it was not this direction. And knowing what the Guard kind of did for me, I was the kid that I was going to get in, do my 6 years, go to college, kick rocks. And now here I am 13 years later. And it's it's life-changing. So my whole thing is I like talking to kids and just be like, hey, where are you going? What direction are you heading? And, the Guards is not for everybody. I'm 100% aware of that, but seeing these kids and, giving them something to look forward to that direction, that's kind of where I thrive, is helping somebody. And then I just had a kid walk in 2 days ago that I enlisted a year and a half ago. And he was like, hey, I'm back from basic AIT. He goes, I literally just stopped in just to say thank you. To me, that's more rewarding than any paycheck, anything you could ever do. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
And do you ever go back and talk to your recruiter and say thank you?
My recruiter's my boss.
Oh, well, even better.
So he's been doing it a long time, and now he's one of my bosses. And so, yeah, I see him on a daily basis.
When I think of the cost of college education nowadays, it is prohibitive to not just people whose family doesn't have a lot of money, but to people in general. No one has that much money just laying around in the average North Dakota town. And so this is an opportunity for them to not only serve our country, but to also have the ability to go to college and to not walk out of it saying, I owe a bank somewhere $70,000. Do you find that most people are showing up because they want the educational benefits? Do you find that it's a historic thing? My dad was a part of the Guard, or my grandfather was a part of the military, or some other factor that goes into it?
So I would say the average North Dakota high school kid, if the kids that come walking into my door, the one every 6 months that just walks in and is like, hey, I want to join the Guard. I mean, we call those our, the low-hanging fruit, the easy ones, because they come in and you don't have to explain anything to them. It's my dad's in it, my grandpa's in it. I just want to do it. The other people that I talk to, it's the college benefits. It's, the $70,000, and you explain to them that, $60,000, $70,000 in student loans. That's $500, $600, $700 a month in a payment you're gonna have to make someday. And is I think the hardest thing with, and we're gonna go out of the Guard, but like society in general, or America these days, is, you can have a 4-year degree, make $40,000 a year, and have $70,000 in student loan debt. The degree you get does not compensate for the payment you're going to have to make. So a lot of kids, I've talked to kids that, grandma and grandpa are helping me. I don't need college money. Well, why would you take the money you've saved and throw it at college when the Guard will pay for it? Take that money and start your 401k, start a Roth IRA. You know how much $70,000 will be when you started at 18?
I was just reading an article saying, if you can get a retirement account set up for a 14-year-old and they can get used to putting in $50 a month, which if you've got a part-time job, $50 can be a lot, but it becomes less as you go on. Being able to retire at an earlier age and maintain a certain lifestyle becomes so easy. So easy. My fiance started saving when she was she must have been 22 years old when she started her retirement account. And so now when she walks into Edward Jones, they're like, well, you've got the retirement savings of some person in their late 50s and you're in your mid 30s. This is really good for you. And so I tell her all the time, that's why we're getting married.
Because you didn't start at 22.
Oh, God, no.
I'm hoping to start at 35 at some point.
Yeah. The company I work for doesn't match. So my retirement is squirreled away underneath a mattress somewhere. So are you all right to talk about a little bit about your own service?
Yeah.
So tell us about what that looked like for you.
So so like going way back, I was 19, I had a roommate going to college, and I was literally like, dude, you always have money. Like, I'm broke all the time. I work 40 hours a week. I'm going to school and I'm broke, and you always have money. I go, how do you have that? He goes, oh, I just use my drill checks. I go, what's a drill check? Like, I'm thinking DeWalt, like, what are you doing? I know you leave. And it's weird as a roommate, like, you think you see him every day, and all of a sudden it's just like, I just know once a month he's gone for a weekend. And it's just like, okay, do your thing. So it was I believe it was a Friday. He's like, oh, I'll have my recruiter call you. Called me on a Friday. He took me to lunch on a Monday, and I enlisted the following Friday. It's like, he started talking to me. He's like, here's the benefits. And I was like, I'm 19. I turned 20 in like a week or something like that. So it was like a week before my 20th birthday. And I was just like, dollar signs, college. I got nothing going. Let's do this. So, and I mean, basically it was, let's go. All right, sign me up. Signed up. Like I said before, I got in thinking I'm going to do 6 years, get college paid for, make some money, and kick rocks. See you later. I'm never going to do this again. And then all of a sudden it starts coming around, and it's like, hey, drill weekends are fun. Like, it's, at the time, a way to get away from a crazy girlfriend. And then, so I can say that because I'm not with her anymore. So that's good. But yeah, this is my weekend away, and you can't tell me I can't do it. I'm going to hang out with the guys, and you can't tell me no. And that's what I loved about it. And then it was 2010-ish. I got a phone call saying, hey, we've been activated. We're getting deployed 2011. And I was like, like jaw hits the floor, like mic drop, like, oh, crap. This is real. And I think the same thing I had even being in is the same stereotypes that most people think of the military as. Like, I wish this was like a TV show kind of so that people could see me. It's like, I don't look like G.I. Joe. You know what I mean? It's not.
You look like G.I. Joe's kind of like
fatter
like,
friend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like G.I. Benjamin.
G.I. Carl.
But yeah, I mean, that's what it was. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, crap, this is real. I was lucky enough to be a part of a unit that had deployed before. And so I had a lot of leadership that basically was like, dude, don't even worry about it. Like, and if there's any veterans that listen to this, like, I don't even really want to say where I went because they'll just be like, dude, that's not a deployment, blah, blah, blah. I didn't know that. So we went to Kuwait, which is, if anybody knows, it's like basically southeast of Iraq, connected, small little place, very rich country per capita. But we had the whole time, basically, we're supposed to go to Kuwait, and then we're supposed to send some people to Afghanistan. And so that was the cloud hanging over us the whole time. And all of a sudden, you fly in, it's like, I don't know, 14-hour flight, stopped in Ireland, went to Kuwait, and they literally land on a strip in the middle of the desert. And you unload, and then we got put underneath, those canvassing tents to where people can't see you from the sky. And we just sat there, like, waiting for a bus. And all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, this is real. Like, it's hot. We're in the middle of a desert. I was like, I have no idea what's going to happen. We get to the base. They drop us off. It's like 10 o'clock at night. So, I mean, it's pitch black. And they're like, hey, there's a PX or a post exchange, which is basically like a military Walmart. They're like, if you guys want to go check that out, get anything you need or whatever. And, we all start making our beds. And they're like, all right, go to bed. And it's like, I don't think anybody slept that night because everybody's just like, we're finally here. Get up. For the first week, we didn't really do much. And it was kind of basically leadership going out. We're a construction unit. So they were like finding what jobs we were going to do, materials. And we just kind of sat around and kind of wandered around the base. And they had different zones. We were zone 6. And then there was like zone 1. Over in zone 1, we found out there's an AstroTurf football field. There's a softball diamond. And we're like, what do they use this for? Like, so we're like, okay, we're going to come back at night. And sure enough, we show up like 7 o'clock. There's a softball game going on. We're like, how do we get a part of this? They're like, oh, new season starts in like 2 weeks. Wow. We're like, all right, sign us up. So once you get into it and you start going, like, I basically did construction from 8 to 5, 3 square meals a day at a DFAC or a cafeteria that is really good food. And I played softball about 4 nights a week.
Wow.
My weapon, my M16, got put in a locker and locked up, so I never even carried a weapon. And that's why I said any veteran right now is probably just like, oh, that's not a deployment. I mean, at the end of the day, no. Did I ever have to shoot anybody? No. Or get shot at? Was I away from my family? Yeah. Was it an awesome, maturing experience? Yes. Would I do it again? Right now, probably not. Married with 2 kids, so it's like being away from them. If I was single, in a heartbeat. I mean, we were playing flag football. We were playing softball. I always make the joke when I talk to kids. I'm like, the only bombs being dropped in Kuwait were my home runs going to left field fence.
But there was a great unknown before you went out there. You didn't know about the softball fields and the AstroTurf. You sort of discovered that as you go out. Because I think everyone in their mind has they've seen something like what was the movie with
Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, like that's what I think.
Yeah.
Basic training's got to be a lot alike. It's not.
No, not even close.
Or think about even Jarhead.
Jarhead, where he's in the middle of the desert and he's just like losing his mind. It's like, it's totally different.
Well, and in that movie, it seemed like they were all being prepped for war and combat, and they never get the actual release of it, right? Which is why they're all firing their guns off when they find out that they're going home and everything's done. Is that they never, had the chance to do it. But I mean, you guys were more construction and stuff like that. That would be what I would rather do. I would prefer your experience than the Jarhead experience.
Oh, 100%. I mean, if we would have had the Jarhead experience, like, I probably would have lost my mind. Because, I mean, it's in the summertime, it's like 130 degrees outside during the day. We eventually started doing construction at night. And it was really weird because we'd turn on lights, like big area lights so we could work. Like, it'd be midnight. And we'd light up our construction site like it was daytime. And it was 90 degrees at night. And we were just like...
What were you building?
So basically, we were there for the drawdown out of Iraq. So
Okay.
all these soldiers coming out of Iraq go through Kuwait to leave.
Got it.
So, I mean, the base itself was built for, 10,000 soldiers. And there was 50,000 coming in. So it was like, building bathrooms, building shower houses to accompany all these people. One of our units, or break off, was in a different area of Kuwait, and they basically redid a defect or a cafeteria to be able to feed these guys when they came out.
Wow.
So that was the biggest part. But yeah, we'd be working at night, building a bathroom, and it'd be 90 degrees, and we're like, it's cold. Like we came back in August, and my parents live out on the lake, so like we went out there. They threw me like a homecoming party. We're out on the boat, and it's like 90 degrees in the middle of August. I'm in sweatpants, a sweatshirt, and like freezing my balls off. Like, my mom's like, it's 90. I go, I know, I'm cold. She's like, everybody's like swimsuits, like sweating, and I'm the biggest sweater there is. Like, if it's over 70 degrees, I will sweat just sitting still.
So how much time did you spend there total?
So I think we were gone for a year, so 12 months. We spent about 2.5 months in Fort Bliss, Texas, going and coming back. So what's that mathematically? 9.5 months actually in country. 3 days in Ireland, which is awesome.
Ireland is awesome.
Never got to leave the airport, but
Oh, shoot.
Ireland literally looks like, if you Google pictures of Ireland, when you fly over it, that's what it looks like.
Like that green, lush
Rocks, sheep. Like 100% legit. I was like, this looks like a Google photo. Like, you can Google Fargo and it's usually like downtown or something. And then you're like, oh, but it's all this other stuff. Ireland literally looks like any photo you Google.
Did you get to pick your job when you entered the Guard, or were you just sort of like...
It's like a sorting hat in Harry Potter, and they're like,
kind
Yeah.
of.
oh, building.
Yes. You look like you can pick something up. Yeah, you go lift this. No, yeah, there's a list of, I don't know, right now it's like 77 jobs. And what I always
Wow.
tell people is, if you can think of it on the civilian side, we have it in the Guard. You want to be a nurse, you want to be a doctor.
You got a podcaster? You guys need podcasts?
Dude, I've
out
been
there?
not fighting, but pushing to get my own podcast started for the Guard. And I'm just basically trying to get my command to approve it.
I'm actually really surprised that you haven't done that, because that the Guard hasn't done it, because the story that us civilians always hear is that it's really hard to recruit more and more as generations go on. And so you see, like, the different ads that the Army uses have changed styles. It used to be about like, service and honor, and now it's about recreating a video game often, because they're trying to reach a new generation of people. So have you it would seem that, as many media types as you can do, as many platforms as you can be on to spread the message, you'd want to do it. And plus, a podcast is cheap compared to anything else.
Right. I
Like
mean,
nothing
I
almost.
think I talked to JJ and it's like, hey, how do I get started? And I found stuff like $100 you can get set up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, for $100, like, let me do this.
Mhm.
But what really blows my mind is, I mean, most people, like, they don't, the fear of the unknown, or you only know what you know. So like when I talk to people, they're like, they think Jarhead, they think this, and then all of a sudden I explain to them what it is, and they don't know. But what really blows my mind is high school kids these nowadays. And maybe it was just me and everybody else around me was planning and I just wasn't. But I didn't know what I wanted to do as a junior, senior. Even my freshman year of college, it was like, I still don't know what I'm doing. Kids nowadays, like, start planning what they want to be and how they want to achieve that goal, like, sophomore year. Like, it blows my mind how prepared some of these kids are at 16, 17 years old. It's like, what do you want to do with your life? I would have been like, try not to get arrested. Right. These kids are like, nope, I'm going to go for computer engineering. I'm going to go to NDSU. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay at home. It's going to cost me this much money. They have broken down. I'm like, what grade are you in? They're like, I'm a sophomore. I'm like, dude, sophomore year, I was just worried about, oh crap, it's varsity football. Like, these guys are huge.
I was just worrying about like arguing with my girlfriend,
right?
You know, or oh, am I gonna get cast in this play?
Yeah.
Oh, I hate math.
Yeah. When's the next day off so I can sleep in?
Yes.
You know, that's what I was thinking. These kids are like, what do they call them? Generation Z is like the new calling for them, and it's like, I think I heard something the other day that they are more planning, more show me. Like, they want to see it, they want to feel it, they want to touch it, you know. And then this digital world that they all live in is, they can do that. Where maybe that's the difference is we couldn't. I mean, I remember back in the day, Oregon Trail, and it was like,
we just talked about the Oregon Trail.
They would just roll it down. It's like, oh, you got bit by a snake. Dang it. Like, that's what I was doing. And like, you can Google things. How much does it cost to go to NDSU? And bing, there, $700-800 a year. How much is UND? $7,400 a year. What degrees do they offer? If I want to go be a teacher, what's the best school in North Dakota? Valley City State. That's where all the education, if you didn't know that, that's where all the teachers go. But I mean, it's at your fingertips. So the ability to plan for your future is huge, but nobody ever Googles, and it blows my mind, nobody ever Googles, how can I pay for college? How am I going to get this? There's grants, there's scholarships, I get that, but I'm not going to say nobody. Because we actually, if you didn't know, last year we had one female senior at Davies won like the president's scholarship or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you guys hear about that? She had to go to like DC. Basically, I mean, the requirements I would have never done this. You have to do like so much community service, basically start like your own business.
Wow.
And like all this stuff. And they only pick 2 per state. So there's basically 100 scholarships given out a year. And a girl from Davies last year won it. And basically it's 100% of your college is paid for.
That's
why I
awesome.
said, I don't want to say there's nobody out there. I mean, unless you're a freak athlete, going to go get a scholarship or like, you know, plays or stuff like that they'll give out.
They're not giving you stuff for plays.
Hey, I just was incorporating you guys into it.
We appreciate that.
But, you know, nobody else. I mean, yeah, you can get grants for like $1,000, or you can get, you know, 50% scholarships that'll pay, or academic scholarships that'll pay. But if the way the Guard do break down the money and what we pay for and what we pay you is, if you balance your money right, you'll actually get paid to go to college.
Well, and I know people who went career, and what's the retirement age? Like, if you go career, average retirement age.
If you start at 17, you can retire at 37.
Full benefits?
Full benefit. Well, it's yeah, you qualify for the extended. I don't know. I've never looked into it because I got a ways to go, but you know, because I basically restarted my career going active Guard. Mm-hmm. So now I have another 17 left. So
okay, but hold on. How old are you right now?
32.
Yeah. So in 17 years, when you're how old?
49.
You're going to be able to retire.
With full benefits.
Yep. Nice. Do you know how long I'm going to have to work before I can retire?
You know how many podcasts? You're going to be on like episode 1,372.
Yeah. Exactly. And I'll still be like, patreon.com/JJ Meets World. That, I think, is one of the things that people are really good at being realistic now, right? So I knew a couple kids who said, I got a full ride scholarship for my first year of college, and so I'm going to go to college, I'm going to hit it hard. And then all of a sudden they're like, college is very expensive. Even with a full ride scholarship, just being a human being these days can be very, very expensive.
Right.
And now the rest of my college isn't paid for. You know, I feel bad for those kids who are like, I got a scholarship for $500. I got a scholarship for $700. That is a drop in the bucket, unless they're going to give that to you every semester for your college career.
Right. So so more of a nuts and bolts question than for someone who would be considering it. Wages haven't really been great for a really long time for low income people, and they have not been adjusted with inflation as time goes on. So how does the Guard review like when they raise payment levels or stuff like that? Like what used to pay for college can no longer pay for college, right? So how often does the Guard reassess? Like is the amount that people are getting paid, is it going up with the times as everything else goes up, or is it as stagnant
No,
as wages?
usually like every year, since we are a government entity, it's anywhere from like 1% to 3% wage increase every year.
Okay.
'Cause, and I'm not going to get political, but when Trump took office, like his first year, like we saw like the biggest pay increase ever, and it was like I think it was like 2 or 3%. But yeah, there's a steady pay increase. I mean, at the end of the day, you're a government worker, and it's the more rank you have and the longer you've been in time and service, all you make more. So it's basically like you stick it out, you're with us a long time, you're going to make more money. But for the average college student, which blows my mind, is they're like, I just got a scholarship for $1,000. Yeah. So student fees at NDSU are $1,200.
Yeah.
Good job. Now
maybe 2 books will be covered.
Yeah, you can use the library, but only for 3 semesters because you're $200 short. And they're just like, what? I'm like, yeah. So yeah, tuition is $700-800. Book or fees are $1,200. Books freshman year, you're probably looking at like $400. By senior year, they're going to be like $1,000. Then you're looking at room and board is like $10,000. It's like,
What is?
and you haven't even ate yet.
Yeah. No
So-
kidding.
You know what I mean?
Let's say
Goodness.
my name is Perry Periwinkle. Okay.
Dude, I would enlist you for the simple fact that you'd be Private Periwinkle. And I want to hear the stories from when you're at basic. Private Perry, get over here, Winkle.
What do you think you're doing? You're just kicking rocks over there. So let's say I'm Private Periwinkle, and I enlist, and then what happens?
So, depending on if you're in high school, obviously we're not going to pull a senior out right now and be like, hey, you're leaving for basic. So we'd find you a ship date somewhere probably in June, July next year. So you'd finish out your senior year. And what you would do is we have an RSP unit, or recruit sustainment program here in Fargo. Once a month, you go drill, you get paid for it. You'll make about $250 for that drill. But they give you a uniform. They go up to Camp Grafton. You learn how to shoot, how to march, how to wear the uniform, so that when you get to basic training, it's not like how I was. Get on the bus, and then all of a sudden you got your drill sergeant just screaming, like, get off the bus, like, I don't know what to do. Like, he told me to pick it up. He told me to put it down. Like, I periwinkled it up, like, what's going on? So, it gets you ready for what's going on. But, like, up at Camp Grafton, it's, we have our rappel tower. They get to do paintball or, like, laser tag, things like that. We have simulators up there for shooting and also
So
driving.
it's junior varsity National Guard training.
It's legit,
Yeah,
homie, straight up.
straight up.
It's pretty cool. I mean, we have a trailer. From the outside, it looks like a semi-trailer, and you get into it, and it's literally computer screens and 4 Humvees, like a driver, a passenger, and then behind you is like
Yeah.
your 50 cal gunner. And
Wow.
you basically wear these goggles, and it's like a simulator that you're driving, and
Wow.
they teach you how to do all these tactical, fun stuff that.
So it's my time to go off to basic. When is that? My ship date? Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you might get a ship date of like June 6th.
Okay.
So then you report, and
How long does basic training last?
forever. No. 9 to 10 weeks, which you think about it is, if you left in June, you'd be done with basic by first week of August.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I call it like the high school. Basic training is teaching you how to be a soldier, the basics. It's kind of funny, basic training. It teaches you the basics. And then you have your advanced individual training, or your AIT, which is your job training, which I call that your college. That's what you're going to find out what you're going to do, or teach you how to do what you're going to do for the Guard, whatever job you picked. And so that can be ranges from, like, I think the shortest one's like 5 weeks long, and the longest one is, hold your breath, 42 weeks long. That's some sort of like computer super
See, but
above my head.
See, but I'd be down with that. They're like, oh, I'm going to be working on computers, though.
Yes.
Cool. I'd be like down. Am I shooting people all the time? No, I'm working with computers. Got it. Love it.
You sit behind a desk and you fly something over them like a drone, and you see people. You're sitting in little podunk Fargo, and you're flying a drone in the middle of Iraq. It's like, try to shoot me, sucker. Your bullet don't go far enough.
That's crazy.
Isn't that amazing?
That's nuts.
It's crazy. Like, I've only been able to go in that room like once in my life, because you have to have like this huge security clearance just to see it. But I'd say the average AIT length is probably another 10 weeks. So you're looking at.
I was watching a I'm sorry to cut you off, but a TEDx presentation recently, I think from about a year or two ago, and it was an AI researcher, and he was talking about all the things that we can do and what we've been able to do for a long time, especially with drone technology. And he showed, I forget the model name of the drone, but I mean, it could be used for war, but it was being used for surveillance, and it obviously has no person inside of it, and it can take off and land on an aircraft carrier, and it's got a camera with insane resolution, and the bottom of the whole thing is an LED screen, so it's able to recreate, and then a camera on the top of it, so it could do a rough approximation of the sky. And basically, if you're in wherever and you look up, first of all, it's going to be so high above you that being able to see it, you'll barely be able to even hear it. And basically, it can just do all these things, and you press a button, and it goes and does it.
Yeah.
And it lands. It does the hardest landing a pilot can do, which is landing on an aircraft carrier, because it's not a long runway at all. And I just think that's just crazy, the kinds of tech that we have in the field, tech that we don't even know about, because like the tech I'm talking about right now was used a while ago, right?
Well, and didn't they just do like a robotic dog? Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That can go in and like search a building for you.
Yep.
It's like, I mean, are we going to get to the point where, I don't even have to recruit anymore because we're just going to build our next
They
soldier?
have drone swarms, and I forget, he showed this other thing. It's basically these little transmitters that are in like a rubber ball, looks kind of like a rock, and you go and you basically just dump a bunch of these. Like, say you're in Afghanistan, you dump a bunch of them all over wherever, and some are able to pick up sound, some pick up video, some pick up chemical signatures, some pick up other stuff, and they all feed back into an AI that basically creates a lattice work of information coming from a region that's just insane.
So
That's
there was
nuts.
some kid who watched the movie Twister.
I was going to say that reminds me of Dorothy.
Yeah.
Twin
Right?
Twister. Like, I stuck it up
And
his
they were
head.
like, I think we could put this into a real world application and not
Yeah.
just let it be Bill Paxton's dream.
Right? That's exactly what I thought about. I just thought those little balls, like, cut up the Coke cans, man. That's what you need.
A few years ago, I was invited as a civilian to watch a drone take off, landing, and then the control up in Grand Forks.
Okay.
And it was wild. They brought me into this room, and inside of this room was like something about half the size of a standard shipping container. And you go into the shipping container, and it's like you say, it's all these screens. And then there are two chairs that are designed to be the same style of seat as a NASCAR. Because like a NASCAR race seat you have to be able to sit in that thing for a long time without getting bed sores and stuff like that. And so that's what they're modeled after. And then we got to see some of the footage that the drone was taking at that time. And I was blown away. And then we got to go out and we got to touch the drone, and I couldn't believe how the word I want to use is flimsy, but I could pick that thing up easily with my own two hands.
Needs to be able to fly. It needs to be lightweight.
Exactly. And the resolution, like they showed this area where they zoomed in on one of the like a military camp, and they're just flying it in North Dakota. And I could tell what the dude was eating for lunch. And so the ability to use that for, military and non-military purposes, just who thought that was going to be part of something we saw in our lifetime? And the military is something that is constantly pushing the limits of technology.
Yeah.
And when you think of a lot of our modern conveniences that were developed because the military needed to fill some kind of a need, it really is, it's really amazing. So Private Periwinkle finishes at.
He wants to become President Periwinkle one day.
Yeah.
So he's starting with military service to boost his bona fides.
What would your running motto be for running for
a gorilla
president?
costume in every closet.
Pick Periwinkle.
Periwinkle, and it's you with your finger in your nose?
Yeah.
Pick Periwinkle.
Pick Periwinkle for progress.
There you go. Give me
Peanuts.
Give me the 3 Ps.
So Private Periwinkle finishes basic training, and he finishes his secondary training.
Yep.
What happens then?
Comes home.
Come home. And now you're totally ripped. And your ex-girlfriends are like, "Oh, why didn't I
let
give
that
him?"
go.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I did. No, that's not. So my biggest thing, like when I got back, is I have a big head.
Mhm.
So like I lost all this weight in basic, and it's like when I'd fall asleep, my drill sergeants would make fun of me and call me a bobblehead because I'd be like, just bouncing around. Sorry, I acted that out, and I realized nobody can see me. But
It's all
Just
right.
picture a bobblehead and you got
yeah,
it.
put it on your dash.
Yep.
That was
Yep.
me from
That's them.
basic. And, so they'd give me crap, but, you find out National Guard, we go to the same basic training that active duty does. We go to the same AITs, or your secondary training as active duty. So you're sitting there talking to these kids and, hey, where are you going after this? It's like, I think I'm going to, Fort Benning, or I'm going to Fort Knox, or where are you going, Copley? Fargo, North Dakota. There's a base up there? No.
I'm just going home.
I'm going home. What? And it just blows their mind because they, you don't know you only know what you know. So, yeah, you come home, you do your 1 weekend a month, which you get a drill schedule a year out. You do your 1 weekend a month.
What does 1 weekend a month mean?
You show up on either Friday night or a Saturday. So me, my unit was in Wahpeton, we're a construction unit. So when I first got back as the new guy, you're, doing a lot of hands-on training, doing your job or doing your tactical training or doing briefings, or, in the summer times up here, we're going out in the field, paintballing, all sorts of stuff. And then as you kind of get older and you become like one of the more veteran guys in your unit, you're now teaching those classes. So the guys that are coming back, it's like, hey, we got to stay on top of things. Here's how you build a wall. Here's how you pour concrete. Here's how we do things. And so that's literally what you do. What you sign up for as your job is what you're going to do. And that's, 1 weekend a month is, a Friday night or a Saturday, Saturday, Sunday, you go do that. And the rest are 28 days, unless it's February, you do your civilian job, you do whatever you want. You go to the movies, you go hang out, and then you do 2 weeks in the summertime.
So is that specifically because of, I'm talking about picking the job that you're going to do and things like that. Is that more or less because you're the Guard versus, say, the Army? I mean, do people just sign up to be combat people, or do they get put into it? Or is it because you are in the Army that more than likely you'll be doing something like that?
So the Guard, as far as I'm aware, is the only branch where you can pick your job. So I don't want anybody to get mad if I'm wrong here, but I believe active duty, they might be like, here's 3 jobs that we need to fill. So you can be, water purification specialist like Pauly Shore.
In the Army now, yeah.
I'd like to thank my brother, the pool man. They might be like water purification, or we need nurses, or we need this. Which one you want to be? All right, you didn't score high enough for these 2, so go clean some water. Something like that. So they kind of get voluntold. That's
I love that term.
key phrase in the military is,
So-
hey, did
same
you
in
sign up
improv
for
shows.
this? No, I got voluntold. Why are you here? I was voluntold to do this. I didn't want to be here. But yeah, so, Army, Marines, Air Force, all those, as far as I'm aware of, is here's our jobs, pick one.
Got it.
Where I have a list in my office it's a full sheet of paper with, first one on there's 12 Bravo, where you get to play with C4 and blow crap up.
12 Bravo?
Yeah, so it's like, that's how it's all labeled. It's an MOS, or a job specification. So 12B is what it's called. Like, I'm a 12 whiskey, 12W, which is carpentry masonry specialist. That's how they label everything.
Got it. Okay.
So 12 Bravo is a combat engineer, and I think that's the shortest AIT. It's like 5 weeks.
What's a 12 Charlie?
Bridge crew member.
What's a 12 Delta?
I don't know. I don't know.
What's a 12
Tucker. 12 Tucker.
12 Tango.
Tango?
No, 12 Tucker. Latrine
Do you know
duty,
the whole
probably.
phonetic alphabet?
Yes.
Let's go through it. Okay.
Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Foxtrot. This is hard to do. What's next? G?
G, yeah.
Golf, Hotel, Indigo,
Indigo.
Juliet, Kilo, Lima, Mike, November, Oscar, Papa, Quebec, R Romeo, S. Oh, this one always throws me off.
Sacramento.
That'd be good. Sierra.
I can't.
I think it's Sierra.
You're right. It is Sierra.
But I always want to say like Sophie I don't know why, but I don't know.
I dated a Sophie who was in the National Guard at one point.
It's kind of
Did
hot.
you really?
Yeah.
Look at that. We're bringing
Bringing it all on home.
Tango or Tucker.
Yep.
Uniform. V is. Now I'm drawing a blank. Victor.
Victor, yeah.
V.
Whiskey.
Whiskey. X-ray. Yankee Zulu.
It's too bad that November wasn't.
That's really hard to do. Not going like A, B, C, and then you just
Yeah.
go. That's like. Now I sound like an idiot.
I wish November was Nacho instead.
Nacho.
Yeah, it's
That'd be-
shorter than November.
Right.
Right.
And it makes you hungry.
Yeah, it makes you hungry.
And
I love the way people speak with the phonetic alphabet, like whiskey, tango, foxtrot. They really try and push
And,
some
like,
of those.
emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Level. That's the one.
Yeah.
So Private Periwinkle then puts in his 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks during the summer, and if his unit is called up, how much lead time do you find out?
Honestly, it depends. When 9/11 happened, it was people were getting called, and it was like, "Hey, we need you here in 3 days." So it was literally, call your job. Hey, honey, it's Wednesday. I'm leaving on Friday for a year. I had a year, so like as we're getting into it, it's like they've kind of built a better plan on how they're going to do it. So I was called August of 2010, and we left in August 2011. So I had a year. Basically, it was nice because I was going into what I thought was going to be my second to last year of college.
Mm-hmm.
But getting the call in August, I basically went from 16 credits to 22, and then 23 on my last one to wrap it up. So it was nice that I was able to finish college before I left. But yeah, some of the guys that deployed in like 03, 04, they didn't, nobody knew it was coming. So it's like, we need you here now.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say most people get at least a year,
Which is nice.
if not more.
I mean, to me,
Yeah.
I would just assume that you're signing up for something where you could have a very minimal window.
Right.
So if you get a 3-day call up, you kind of know going in that you could have it. But it sounds like for the most part, they've put practices in place.
Right.
To
Now
try and give
that
you-
we know we're over there, it's like, hey, you guys are coming in 2020. Get ready. So
And do they make like allowances? Like what happens if I'm in an apartment lease at that time? Like, but I'm going to be gone.
You get what they call BAH, or a basic housing allowance. So they pay you, and you talk to your apartment complex and just let them know, hey, I'm not going to be here, and you just set up some way to make a payment. And some apartments will let you out of it, but if you don't have a lease, you don't get BAH. So
Might as well get that lease.
get that lease done
Right?
because the BAH is not based on where you live or what your lease is. It's based off of your zip code and that area.
Is there a cap for Private Periwinkle's college tuition? Is it a reimbursement, or is it just is it a payment?
It used to be they'd pay it up front, and then we had, I think, too many people that would take classes and fail them or drop out or something like that. And then all of a sudden they'd be like, hey, you have to pay us back. And they just wouldn't pay them back. So now it is a reimbursement. So 2 parts of that is you go to college, take your student loans out or whatever. And then at the end of it, you turn in your grades to make sure you carry a 2.0. Telling people if I can carry a 2.0, anybody can carry a 2.0. And then, yeah, they cut you a check for it at the end of it. So you could take it and put it in your bank account and just use it, or you could, pay off your student loans right away.
What if I want to go to like Yale?
Where's Yale located?
Where is Yale? Up in Massachusetts?
Sure.
Yeah.
So let's say it's Massachusetts. So basically what you would do is we would do what we call an IST, or an interstate transfer. So let's say you got accepted to Yale. You would now get transferred to the Massachusetts National Guard. We're not going to require you to come back to Fargo for your drill. So you transfer, go to school there. And then when you're done, if you wanted to come back, we just transfer you back to North Dakota Guard. But you pick up whatever state you're going to, their college benefits. Obviously, we're not going to pay for somebody to go to school at Florida State.
Right.
Or Yale
So
or
Florida's the Florida National Guard's gonna pick up.
whatever Florida picks up, that's what you'll get.
So what about cost wise? Yeah, I mean, do you guys say like, whoa, you can't go to the
Like an Ivy
most
League school that's
expensive
going to be super
school?
expensive.
Well, so state of North Dakota will pay for tuition at any public school.
Wow.
So let's say you want to go to Jamestown, which is a private school, which I didn't realize that Jamestown was a private school.
Yeah.
But at Jamestown, they'll pay the equivalent of NDSU or UND, whatever's higher. So like right now, I think NDSU is like 7,800 and I think UND is like 76. So if you went to Jamestown, they will pay $7,800 and you cover the rest.
Let's say my plan is to go to the University of Minnesota. But I live in Fargo. Can I join the Minnesota National Guard?
Why would you do that?
I'm just asking as just a question.
I'm just asking too. Why would you do that?
So, well, I mean, do I have to be in that state, like that state's school? Like, if I want to attend a university in Minnesota,
Yep.
but I want to serve with the National Guard and be able to get it paid for, I can't serve in the North Dakota National Guard and then pay for an out-of-state school, right?
Right. So, like I actually graduated from a Minnesota high school. I lived in Minnesota, was in the North Dakota Army National Guard. So every branch, the way it breaks out is every branch of service, no matter what it's Air Force, Army, Navy, Marines, everything, gets $4,000 of federal tuition assistance. That's deemed by the government. So the best thing about the Guard in itself is we're the only branch with a two-prong mission. What I mean by that is, first and foremost, we're here for the state. This is kind of my spiel that I tell kids is we're here for the state. You've seen us on flood duties, DAPL, things like that. We never hold a, what would the word be? A side. It's like a DAPL. We weren't one side or the other.
Yep, you were there to protect the protesters as well as protect the people
and then
trying to
also
do
the
work.
people that weren't even part of the protest, like make sure they had freedom of movement going to and from work, that were like, you screw these people, like I just want to get to my crappy job and drink my crappy coffee, and these guys just make my day worse.
Keep the peace and protect life and limb and
Right.
and do the best you can to just protect everybody.
Yep. And so everybody's guaranteed that $4,000, but we had this thing called the oil boom. I don't know if you guys heard about it out west.
Oh yeah. I thought I heard something about that.
Yeah, the state basically says whatever the $4,000 won't cover, the state will pay the rest. So depending on what school, so you said U of M, you'll still get, if you're in the North Dakota Army National Guard, $4,000 a month. You'll still get our GI Bill. You'll still get our GI Bill kicker. You'll still get your incentive pays from the Guard. If you went to U of M, you just have to come back and drill 1 weekend a month.
We've talked a lot about how financially I mean, I could look at Tucker here and I can see him thinking about like, well, maybe.
I don't think I could enlist Tucker because then he would have to shave that stellar beard.
Yeah.
And he's not going to lose that.
And I don't like alarm clocks or being told what to do.
Oh, we don't have alarm clocks. We just yell.
Or the equivalent.
So what about just service to our country? I mean, you made a great financial decision and you made a great life decision for yourself
Right.
because you didn't know what you were going. How does that affect your feeling as an American citizen? And how does it affect your feeling about other American citizens?
So, like, I think everybody, let's say 90% of people that join the Guard join it for the financial benefit. The reason people stay in is the service to your country, is healthcare, little things like that. But I watch movies different. Like, you watch something and you see, like, Remember the Titans, that camaraderie. It's more, those movies mean more to me than just a football movie. I have buddies that I went through basic training with 13 years ago. One of them married, he's from California, married my girlfriend at the time's best friend, and now they live in Fargo together.
Oh, interesting.
Like, the camaraderie you build with the people, the closeness. I mean, you think about it, you're basically training to die for the person to your left and die for the person to your right. Now, granted, don't let that freak anybody out because that's not the whole point, but you're trained to love your brothers and your sisters around you. Like watching American Sniper, granted, I've never done anything like that, but I think it means more to me than it does to you, or on a different level, just, seeing those guys and doing what they do. Granted, like I said, I've never done it, but just that camaraderie you have. Like, when I got married, there was 7 people in my wedding party, not by my choice, but by my wife's. And I was like, I don't have 7 friends. So can we do like 2? And she's like, no, I need 7. Like, all right, I'm going to go find a homeless guy. And
You go to like Labor Now or something, but like
Yeah,
a
I was
bottle
like,
of wild
hey.
turkey and be like, hey,
$20, put the suit on. No, but I actually look back, I didn't even think of it. There was 4 guys out of the 7 that were in the Guard with me. or have been in the Guard or some sort of influence with me in the Guard. So that camaraderie, that partnership, I mean, I have buddies across the state. Now, granted, we're not very big, but, you know, I got buddies that are in Bismarck, that are in Jamestown, that are Minot, that do I talk to them on a regular basis? No. But if we run into each other, it's like, you ever have that friend where you could not be around for 3 years and you just pick up right where you left off?
Yeah, fall immediately into step.
Right. And those are the type of friends that I have. You know, we've seen the world together. We've been to Ireland. We've been to Kuwait. So it's like that type of thing. And you can't explain that to somebody. You just have to basically trust me, and which is hard to do because there's a lot of stereotypes about recruiters.
Well, I mean,
But
to be fair though, too, like I remember the recruiters that I came up against when I was in high school, and 2 of them were really aggressive, right? So like I think, you know, it of course that was a different era too, like people
Right.
change and things change. But I remember I had lunch hour, you could go off campus, and me and some friends went off campus to Pizza Hut, and we're coming back into the school, we're walking through the parking lot, and these 2 recruiters were in a car, and they zip over to where we are and just pull right in front, like, and stop right in front of us. And it was a young guy. He rolls down the driver's window and he goes, "You guys ever thought about joining the Army?" And I just said, "Oh, thanks, man. No, I'm good. You know, I'm someone who it's just not for." And he said, "Dude, chicks love guys who are in uniform." And I said, "They also love guys who are here." You know, so like if you get deployed,
yeah,
that's just easier for me. And he said, "That's a really good point." And then he just took off.
Yeah.
You know, so he was joking around with me anyways.
Right.
But sometimes, like, yeah, I would meet guys who were the stereotype. But the older I've gotten and the more people I've gotten to know, I have a lot of friends who are in the military. A good friend is in the Air Force, doesn't fly a plane, but he like works on the planes and
Yep.
stuff like that. Many of my family are in the military. And everyone has their own reasons for getting into it, but they definitely come away with that shared experience, that feeling of camaraderie, that bonding that happens because of a shared experience that you can't get just by being related to someone,
right.
right? Just because someone has the same blood as you, that doesn't mean nearly as much as someone who has bled with you.
Right. And it's funny you say that. Like, so if you talk to anybody who's in any branch, we all have our little jokes about what branch is what. Like, I think Marines get it the hardest. It's like, "Hey, when you guys sign up, did you sign with a crayon?" "Oh, that's right. You guys can't have crayons because you'll eat it." So it's like these running jokes.
What?
Yeah. If you ever ask, well, make sure it's the right Marine, but they all giggle and it's funny. Like I got a guy in my unit who's prior service Marine and he switched over to the Guard, and we always give him crap like, "Hey, don't eat the crayons. Like we see them there, stay back." But some of them, like they just think it's funny, like, "Oh, yeah, whatever." And some of them get like mad. It's like, "Oh, sorry, dude. It's a joke." You know, the Air Force, they always call the chair force.
That's what my buddy Phil was
yeah.
saying. He's like, "Yeah, everyone doesn't like us because we get really nice accommodations and like Air Forces. You can join the Air Force and not pilot a plane ever."
Well, there's more planes in the Army and the Navy than there is in the Air Force
Really?
across the board in general.
Yeah, but you're not going to become a Top Gun.
That's Navy.
What?
That's really
See?
interesting to me. Then that
I'm pretty sure that's Navy.
Is
So
it?
everybody thinks like Top Gun is Air Force. I'm pretty sure those are Navy pilots.
Those are Navy.
I
Blue,
think-
pilots?
Blue
yeah,
Angels
yeah,
are
yeah.
Navy.
Huh.
The more you know.
Huh? Does that mean that?
He just winked at me with this look of like me, like there you go, idiot.
That's my closer. So it's like this. If I'm like recruiting target, like, "So you think you want to do this?" And you're like,
Yeah. Yep.
See,
That
his
convinced me.
his head was going north and south before I even finished. He's like, "I want to be like you."
Yep. JJ recently divulged on this show that he was late to signing up for selective service.
Yeah, way late. So my parents were kind of neglectful of me. When
I
was
don't
growing
remember
up.
signing up.
I got
So-
a donut for it. I got a Krispy Kreme for it.
Right.
Where did
They-
you do it at?
I did it at school.
Yeah, they make it incredibly easy for you.
It was right at the recruitment table
Yeah.
for me. Like once you were 18, you just walk over there. And
Yeah, I
sign
don't
up.
remember doing it, but I
and
I mean,
I have,
you're in.
did.
So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rick's-
I have nothing against the military, and I knew I needed to sign up. But about 5 or 6 months after my 18th birthday, knock, 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 knock on the door. My dad answers it and calls me upstairs, and he's mad. And there are two gentlemen in full fatigues saying, "Hello, Jonathan. So you got to sign this document. We're going to make sure you sign it right here and now." And so I had to fill out my draft card, my selective service card, right there in front of them. They're like, "All right, now remember, this is something you have to do." And then like one of them kind of noted like, if you don't do this, you're ineligible for certain protections of the government.
Like what?
Like Social Security, I think, was one part of it. And like if you do not sign up for it, they take it very, very seriously.
And I didn't realize how seriously they take it either.
So here's my question then. And I posed this to JJ when he brought it up. Why did they need him to sign something? They know his name, they know his age, they know where he lives, they have his social security number, and if you get drafted, you're forced to do that. So what is the purpose for having him sign a card or whatever when they could just say, well, you just are now?
Right. And I don't know the exact reasoning, but have you guys watched the show This Is Us?
I've seen a little bit of it.
I've
Like
been
my
told I
wife-
should watch it and not leave my crock pot.
All I
plugged
know
in.
is I intermittently was watching. I think season 2 just started, and my wife is like infatuated with it. And I'll watch it. I'm not really into those type of shows. Like she watched, Grey's Anatomy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're describing my ex-girlfriend, and I know you're not married to my ex-girlfriend, but like, yeah.
I kind of want to know, is it Sophie?
No,
Okay.
no, it's not Sophie. It's not Sophie.
No.
Anyways, keep going.
But yeah, she's infatuated with Grey's Anatomy. She's like, just watch it with me. I'm like, this show is dumb. And you probably just lost like 4 followers there. But I'm like, it's the same thing every time. There's a relationship issue, there's a traumatic surgery, and then there's a basic surgery. Every episode. It's the same thing every episode. It's like on season 9.
I once joked too that it's got a bigger body count than Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Like characters die all the time on that show.
And I'm like, it's the same thing
Everyone
over
gets
and
cancer.
over.
Everyone gets cancer.
Yeah. Oh, dang it. It happened again.
I
It's
remember
like,
I
well,
watched
what a
10
twist.
minutes of an episode after the Super Bowl where someone had an active bomb in their body, and so someone had to like hold it. It was like a landmine where they had triggered it, and so someone had to hold on to it while they were doing the surgery to make sure that the bomb doesn't go off inside of this person. I was like, wait a minute, you're worried about the surgery, but this person has like a live hand grenade
How'd
or
it get
something?
in there?
That's a good question.
Like that's how dumb that show is. Like I like how I whisper, like you're not going to turn up your volume. What did he just say about my
The
show?
thing is our show has a big crossover with the audience of Grey's Anatomy, so we're probably going
Right.
to lose a lot of people.
Yeah. I love you guys. Sorry.
Well, I was going to sign up for the National Guard, but not until he
I think
said
Dr. Gray's
that shit
hot.
about McSteamy.
Mixed
So-
TV.
So you get someone who comes up and they're like, "Listen, I'd like to join the North Dakota National Guard. Do you have any jobs related to Grey's Anatomy?"
Yeah, doctors.
Oh, no. I don't want to actually perform the surgery. I would just like to date people who
Dr.
are in
Gray?
the, yeah. Is that possible? Do you have something like that?
I don't know her personally, but you know,
You don't know Ellen Pompeo?
chicks dig a guy in uniform.
What about if I have a career in interpretive dance? What can the Guard use my skills
Deployments
for?
are going to be awesome. Dude, I'm gonna joke. You put a bunch of dudes in a barracks. We do some weird
Some
stuff.
of the best web videos are from like bored soldiers who are just like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, we're just playing around.
So
'cause we
like
don't got
it was
anything
over.
else to do.
It was over Christmas, and like care packages get sent over. And I told my mom we were having a stocking competition on who could get the biggest stocking. So my mom and her friend got together and they sewed me a 20-foot long stocking. I hung it from the ceiling and it touched the floor. Let's just say I won. But they also threw in like Santa hats and like regular stockings or whatever. My buddy unpacks it, and next thing I know, he's in his boxers, in a Santa hat, just his boxers, Santa hat, and booties, and he's dancing around the barracks. It's like, if we weren't deployed, I'd question. But
Right. You work hard,
you play hard. Yeah. And then like it was one night we got bored, so like the glow sticks that you crack, we found a box of military grade ones.
just
so-
used a bunch of military supplies.
So we took them, we turned all the lights off in the barracks, and then we took 550 cord, which is like basically thin rope stuff, and we'd tie them to him, and you could spin them around, and basically we had teams on either side, and you'd spin them, and
You're
you'd
whipping at each
fire them at each other. So all you see is these glow sticks fly back, and all of a sudden it'd be like, the sound it makes, and you whoosh, ow, like got him, yeah, nailed it. Because you don't know what you're fighting. That's the things that we do or whatever like that. But interpretive dance. I mean, yeah, you definitely come up with
just to distract the enemy.
Yeah,
I had
go up there and do something.
In high school, I had a good buddy who wanted to join the Army band.
Yes,
that was his dream. He'd play the trumpet. He's like, it'll be perfect. And then when he's told, like, well, you still have to go to basic training.
Yep.
And he's like, no, you don't understand. I already know how to play the trumpet. And they're like, but you still have to go to basic training because you'll be given a trumpet, but you'll also be given a weapon. You're still a soldier. When my sister at one point was talking about possibly going into the FBI, into forensic accounting, the person she was talking to said, listen, you'd be perfect. You've already uncovered some theft at a library. Like, this is what we're looking for. But you do have to go through Quantico. Like, you'll have to go through FBI training. And she was like, I don't know. And my sister weighs what, like 95 pounds soaking wet?
Yeah.
So her firing a gun, the kickback alone would just send her to another room. But I think that's the thing is, you talk about the camaraderie, you talk about these shared group experiences. Even though everyone's got different jobs, you are all starting with the same base,
right?
The basic training, and
soldier first mentality.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something where you don't see that anywhere else outside of the military, where everyone has the exact same style of training. Do you ever watch the show
Sense
Malcolm
of
in the
shared
Middle?
mission.
By any chance?
I've seen bits and pieces. Isn't where he goes off to?
Yeah, he goes off to basic training at one point,
Wisham?
and in Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And Reese is the character's name, and they're like, he's a perfect soldier because he does not think for himself.
Right.
He's so they'd be like, march in that direction, and he will continue marching until someone tells him to stop.
Yep.
Because that's his mindset.
Right.
And he ends up becoming this just amazing soldier.
It's like Forrest Gump.
It is like Forrest Gump, right?
Why'd you do that so fast? You told me to, drill sergeant.
You must be a goddamn genius.
You're gonna be general someday, Gump.
That depiction of the Vietnam War era is the one that really opened my mind, because they talk about how they eat steaks when they're in Vietnam, and it shows them, hanging out and playing poker and all these things. Because in my mind, when you go serve somewhere, it's just basic training in another area. So everyone's always, marching and jogging, and it's like the middle part of stripes.
So much of us have World War II still in our head, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what we're used to, the romantic imagery of World War II.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's being cold in a foxhole, trying to light your cigarette, and everything's like life just sucks. But that's war, right? That's when you're in the middle of people trying to kill each other. That's not necessarily, being in the army doesn't mean you're going to war necessarily.
And like the depiction is the other hard part is, what was World War II, like 42?
Yeah.
So we're talking
for America,
70 years, 80 years
Good
ago.
Good point.
Yeah.
For America,
for
it was.
America, yeah.
Right.
It's like 37 or 38, I think, is when it kicked off. But
yeah. So I mean, you're looking at 70, 80 years ago. Look at the technology we have. The war we fight nowadays isn't like the war we fought 80 years ago. Like we're talking, like there's people that are flying drones stateside that are basically looking over Iraq or Afghanistan to look what's going on.
there are teams of hackers that are sponsored by countries, including ours, that are just doing warfare with each other on a level that we'll never even see,
Right.
because it's happening in a domain that isn't physical.
Well, I mean, we're getting to the point where, and I don't know when or if, but I've heard rumors that in the future we're going to recruit people to be like social media hackers or a digital team that your job in the Guard is to make sure we're not getting hacked.
Believe it.
It's
Believe
like,
it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because propaganda is more deadly
Right.
than any gun.
Yeah.
And public perception is very, very important. And so the hacking aspect, I think, it's just how modern warfare has changed over the years.
Because
Right.
you can target infrastructure in a way you couldn't. Like it used to be, if you wanted to target a power plant, you'd have to bomb it.
Right.
But now you can hack into it and make it melt down from the inside.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many ways that you can wage war on someone without even firing a shot. if you can disrupt supply lines or the way someone feeds themselves or whatever. And so those vulnerabilities seem to continue to grow as our technology grows. There are more access points to us that we may not even see.
What I have always joked about is like, what is it, Civil War, where my depiction of war then is, hey, we're going to meet at this field. Mm-hmm. We're going to stare at each other, and
it's going to stand in a line and shoot at each other.
It's fair. When I say go, you shoot. When we say stop, we're going to leave. No.
Right.
Oh, and by the way, your barrels aren't, they're just smooth barrels, so we don't actually know where the bullet's going.
Being a soldier, obviously in the middle of any war, you're in the middle of some form of hellscape, and me never having had to have been in that. But when I look at historically, I feel like maybe the ones who had it the worst were those guys in the trenches in World War I, where you're literally poking a man to death, a few feet in front of you, and there's just so much unproductive killing, I guess you could say, right? Just so many people thrown into a meat grinder for a foot on the battlefield. That seems like those were a level of conditions that I don't know anyone.
Well, I don't know the statistics on it, but I'm pretty sure there was more deaths in like World War I, World War II by, infection and disease than there was actually like shot. Like, because they're in trenches, they're in just cold, crappy conditions.
And it disrupts everything. It affects everything.
Right. So, I mean, they were getting sick, they were getting pneumonia, they were, basically dying from disease. And you'd sit in a trench for like 3 days because you couldn't pop up because they'd shoot and they'd just die. And it's like, yeah, that's not how it is anymore. But try to tell that to a mom when I'm trying to steal her baby from her.
Sure.
That's what they see.
And that's got to be tough too, is, your job is not only to recruit the future soldier, but also to recruit the parents and to,
that's true.
And I won't recruit anybody under 18 that their parents aren't on board. I mean, granted, their parents have to sign for them if they're under 18, but if their parents aren't on board, I won't do it, because you're basically taking a kid, sending him to basic with no support back home. You're with parents that don't agree with it. But my other argument is, how come a parent is okay with your kid going off to college in Colorado and moving away to somewhere far away, but you're not going to let them leave home for 20 weeks?
They play out the worst scenario in their head, I'm guessing. They think of the worst thing.
But statistically, you're more likely to die in a car accident than you are in the service. So when I start throwing those stats out, parents really kind of, now it's just, it's not happening.
We compare a lot of things to dying in a car accident. That seems to be the base model with a lot of stuff. Like,
I guess that's something we're used to doing every single day. We all do it. And it is a massive amount of death is caused by human error while we're driving. So I guess it makes sense.
Have you ever been inside of a tank?
Not an actual
tank.
This
episode's over.
Oh, man.
He wanted to hear about the tank so bad.
No, but I have been in one of those little carry vehicles with a track that you basically drive by poking your... And let's just say, guys like us...
Oh, they don't
we
fit
don't
so
fit
well.
in there. We don't fit in there. It's like, this is a troop carrying vehicle. I'm a troop, and this thing ain't carrying. I'll ride on top.
Did you ever see the A-Team movie that came out? I loved that movie.
Yes.
I thought that movie was fun start to finish.
Yes.
And when they're inside of that carrier plane that gets shot down by the drone, and so they get inside the tank
and start shooting to
they
slow them
shoot.
down. That would never happen.
They shoot they use the gun of the tank to move them over a couple feet so they can land inside the lake. And they're flying the tank. Everything about that movie just tickled me from start to finish.
I mean, you watch it, it's like, there's no way that could legitimately happen.
Mm-hmm.
But then you think of it, and like a kick of a rifle, and then you start contemplating, could it happen?
Right.
I'm like, I don't know. I feel like the impact with the water, though, they would have all
died from that. Yeah.
But,
But they try and slow themselves down by going,
firing down. It's like, you gotta fire at the right time so it counter. It's like, no, it's not gonna work like that.
That's hilarious.
So we'll leave it on this. Jason, if people want to get a hold of you, maybe they've got aspirations for joining the North Dakota National Guard, or maybe they just have some questions. I imagine you answer a lot of questions. Like that's probably got to be the number one thing. How are they going to find you?
So you can call or text. My cell is 701-516-7794. I'm also on Facebook, Jason Copley Fargo, Instagram, Sergeant Copley, North Dakota Army National Guard. And I just made my first Snapchat account for my...
Whoa!
Yeah.
Nice.
You're already out of date.
Sergeant Jason Copley on Snapchat. I haven't even made a video or a picture yet.
And if you've got questions, if your parents have questions, obviously Jason's a fun guy. We had a lot of good laughs during this thing.
And that's the biggest thing is meeting with me is there's no obligation like at whatsoever. So I think it really bothers me is like high school kids that are like, I'm not going to go talk to him because what are my friends going to think? You know, are they going to judge me? Why were you talking to the Army? Like, it's like, ask the questions.
Yeah.
It's like I said in the very beginning, I think the first thing I said is it's not for everybody, but you know what you know.
I was talking to another recruiter who said that they recently recruited a young woman who was nervous about walking into the office because she thought that was a binding contract.
Yeah.
Just by stepping into the office, you've agreed. And so she's like, I don't know if couldn't we meet at a Subway instead?
Right. And I've actually had people come into my office and it's like, okay, I need you to fill out this stuff. I mean, there's an application. You just fill it out and they're just like, I don't know if I want to fill this out. I'm like, well, why? I'm not sure if I want to do this yet. I'm like, that's not how this works.
I'm not trying to trick you.
I've literally, and the thing is recruiting, I don't put you in the Guard. I get your paperwork together to send you to MEPS, which is the Military Entrance Processing Station.
Which used to be right here.
This is where I enlisted in
Is
this
it
building.
really?
Nice.
Yes. So yeah, we take them down there. They're the ones who decide if you're in or not. I just get your paperwork ready. I guide you in your path. I'm like I don't know, my kid's obsessed with Coco, the movie. You watched it?
Yeah, I like Coco.
So I'm like your spirit animal. I just guide you
nice
to the promised land.
Nice. You're not
But I'm not colorful like they are.
Yeah, right. And it can fly. Some of them fly, right?
I don't know. If they can fly a tank, I feel like I can figure it out.
Flying tanks, that's the future.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's the thing is there's no contract with me. I'm just there to help answer questions. That's my job is to answer questions.
All right.
If you say, yeah, I want to do it, okay, go to MEPS.
Do this thing. Pee in a cup.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jason Continuity, for joining us today. I'm sorry, Jason Continually. Jason Copperfield. Jason Copperfield. Jason Copperfield. No, but Jason Copley. I was going to say
you almost messed it up and you were going for the real one.
Thank you for joining us on JJ Meets World, and thank you for. Is it weird when people say thank you for serving our nation? Do you like that? Is there a way people should approach that?
No, I mean, I get a lot of people that are like, hey, thank you for your service, and all I say is thank you for your support.
Well, that's very nice.
You know,
thank you for your service.
thank you for your support.
End of episode.
JJ Meets World.
That's going to wrap it up for today's show. If you enjoyed this episode of JJ Meets World and would like to help us continue to produce 2 new episodes every week, you can donate to our Patreon. Check out patreon.com/JJ Meets World and donate today. Even as little as $1 a month can go a long way. Visit our website at www.jjmeetsworld.com or hit up our social media. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the sites the kids are using these days. If you'd like to stay up to date on new episodes of JJ Meets World, you can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, YouTube, or wherever you consume the podcast that you love. JJ Meets World is produced every week by Tucker Lucas. You can find out more about Tucker's work by checking out www.moonbasemaria.com. If you want to get in touch with your host with the most, go to linebenders.com, and you can find direct contact info for JJ. Hoo-ha! 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 Remember the movie Toys? That was the song that played during Toys when the military was taking over the toy factory. Ready to have your mind blown? The evil general in Toys is also Albus Dumbledore from movies 3 through 7-2 in the Harry Potter universe. Mind blown!